And good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you're staying warm. It is cold outside. We're 9 days from Christmas, and we've got a show today. We're going to help you get prepared. Charlie Morgan, Chastity Stewart joining me today. Girls, how are y'all doing?
I'm good. I'm nice and cozy. I got my Sherpa on, got hot chocolate brought to you by Miss Chastity over there. I mean,
the hot chocolate, that makes the day. It's toasty in here, too. It's so cold outside. You know, I was thinking about it last night. Well, first off, I got to talk about my mums. So I planted mums. I didn't actually plant them myself. A buddy planted mums.
Okay.
Not a bunch, but we put them out for like seasonal decoration.
Sure.
And they say that if it drops below a certain temperature, you got to cover them up. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming a Publix grocery bag doesn't do the trick.
You're going to need to talk to Chastity about this.
Yeah.
I have the ability to kill succulents, so I'm not the person to talk to about plants.
You got the kiss of death when it comes to it.
I do. I've got the black thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely need to cover them, especially if they're new in the ground, and just cover them with a sheet, something kind of just to keep the wind directly
Maybe a
off
tarp?
of them.
Well, too late for
Tarp,
that. I used the Publix grocery. I actually did use the Publix grocery bag. Yeah, a couple of them took the dirt nap. Yeah.
Okay. Just keep us posted then.
Oh, it's two or three of them are dead.
They're
yeah.
done.
Oh,
yeah, they're gone.
Oh.
But hey, you know what? And then last night, so I don't know how y'all are. I run hot normally, right? So even if it's cold outside, I like my blankets, but there's many times I sleep light. I don't want the big heavy duty blankets.
Right.
Now, Liliana, on the other hand, she puts this heating blanket that just fits her side of the bed.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Now, do y'all like that? Do y'all like the heat?
I used to be, and after I had my second child, my body completely went upside
Your
down.
thermostat changed.
Yeah, so now I like a cold house, so I can cover up with all the blankets. But I don't want a heated blanket. No.
My foot accidentally slides over there every now and then, and I know what a chicken wing in an air fryer feels like because I can hear the sizzle as my hairs cook off my legs.
Well, she's a tiny little thing.
Oh,
She's got no meat on her bones. She just, she needs all the warmth she can get.
I can relate with Liliana.
Oh, yeah, it's hilarious. Well, and then what's funny, too, is her side of the bed is meticulously perfect. When she gets up, she can just flip the sheet back and it's just ready to go. And then I look like there's an exorcism has been performed on my side of the bed.
What is it with men in that? Yeah.
Is husband same way?
Yes. I have to, every morning when I make up the bed, I have to, take the fitted sheet up off his side, that corner, and pull it tight, and then put it back over the mattress every single morning.
I don't know why.
I don't know what he's doing.
I just, I flop around a lot, and there's a good chance my fitted sheet's coming undone, and so it's pillow covers are coming off. It's like I said, it's a war zone. But I don't know how Liliana tolerates me. Oh, mercy. I had breakfast at Strickland's this morning. Strickland's is the place as you come into Athens, on 78 on the right. Yeah, and I just got to give a shout out to all the veterans that are there. I was there having breakfast this morning, bright and early, and I was sitting between a couple guys, Harold and David. These guys both served in the Vietnam War, and it hit me. We celebrate our veterans 2 times a year with Memorial Day, with the passing of those that have passed away, and then Veterans Day, which we recognize all veterans on Veterans Day, and. These guys were 18, 19 years old when they entered the draft.
It feels different than the other veterans. And I don't want to say they're better or, whatever, but
it's different.
In a way, a lot of them didn't have a choice.
Well, it was the most recent war we had a draft.
Yes.
And both these guys said they volunteered for the draft. And I was thinking about that. Imagine being 18 or 19 years old and having to make that decision.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. These Vietnam vets are a special breed, and unfortunately or fortunately, for the most part, you don't really see that anymore, which is really sad. But they deserve more than a Veterans Day.
I don't know if your average 18 or 19-year-old could even fathom what these men went through.
No.
Really no.
No, absolutely not.
I celebrate Veterans Day every day.
Yes.
Yeah, as we should.
Yes.
As we should. No, great place. I enjoyed it. I love all the breakfast places. Potluck. They've got a tremendous breakfast as well. So what I did this morning, I'm not going to do the carnivore diet, Charlie.
I have a friend that did that.
Do you know what that is?
Yes.
It's just pretty much protein is all you're eating.
Yeah.
See, I always gain weight this time of year. I'm not disciplined.
Everybody does,
right? Thanksgiving to Christmas.
Yeah, the cookies, and you're eating more hearty comfort foods.
Did you see the plate that Chastity put in front of us yesterday?
She brought it to me yesterday. She's like, "Do you want anything?" I was like, "No, I bet they want that in the studio." I'm like, "I do not need that temptation while I'm sitting at my desk."
Well, a good bit of it has been
consumed.
Yes.
Yeah, I helped with that. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and spend about 4 or 5 days to try to eat smart. I've got a bunch of Christmas parties coming up, and so I don't want to balloon up. But I do, I put on 5 pounds easy. I was doing really good before Thanksgiving, so the past couple of weeks, Striplings is to blame for this because of their incredible Thanksgiving dinner that we got. But I put on some weight. So this morning I did the bacon, and I did a pork tenderloin in a glass of water.
Okay.
So I'm going to see if I can continue with this.
I totally get the idea of the carnivore diet, but what I can't understand is how having a bunch of bacon like that is good for you.
I know it's kind of an oxymoron, right?
Yeah, like the sodium and the nitrates. Like, and don't get me wrong. Like, please don't think I'm on some high horse here. Like, I love me some bacon.
Yeah,
but the fact that that's what you're, like it just in moderation, bacon in moderation.
And you're right. I can be real rough with bacon. I can devour some bacon.
Yes.
Well, speaking of fresh pork sausage and Strickland's this morning, Jimmy Camp. No, not Mr. Jimmy Camp, but Mr. Jimmy Loggins.
Yeah.
Is coming by the studio to bring us some fresh
Yum.
pork
Wow.
sausage.
Nice. Yeah.
So I'm super excited.
That fits
about
the
that.
diet.
Yep.
And I'm not even going to call it a diet.
Sorry.
This is just a little binge I'm going to go on. I'm just going to
Okay.
be disciplined, try to not eat a bunch of candies and cookies and
So
cakes.
you started it today.
Yeah, I started at 7 a.m. I should be able to continue through
5
lunch
days?
today.
Well, I mean, technically it is lunchtime right now, so we're
So my
doing
diet's
okay.
over?
Well, yeah.
Get those
for
brownies,
now.
Chastity.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
get to town. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Charlie Morgan, Chastity Stewart. Charlie, speaking of diet, this is absolutely... So we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago on the show. Mm-hmm. Southwest Airlines has now instituted a policy that plus-size passengers that are too big, they have to buy 2 seats. What do you think of that?
As someone that has sat beside someone that spilled over, like, I get it. But also, I don't want to be the flight attendant that has to say that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that
should
is
be
a
on the
slip. That is
pilot.
unnecessary, and it's embarrassing. They know they're large. Like,
Sure.
this is not breaking news to them, but to have to draw attention to it.
Yeah.
And especially if we're talking about like a sold out flight, and then all of a sudden, like, you see this person, and now they gotta have another seat. That means somebody's gonna
Tough
get bumped.
conversation. Well, so what
Yeah,
they're
I
expecting
don't
you to
love
do is
this.
if you're biggin', and look, I've got some friends that are large, but none of my friends would be that, because this is really for big people, right? This is for
I'm
people that-
assuming so. Yeah. I
that
mean,
are
I
just-
think this is probably more than just poo size.
Well, this like Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
me
okay.
too. Hey, if I can make a Disney
yes.
reference, you know I'm going to.
Well, so I think what they do is they expect you to self-police and purchase the ticket in advance, and then I guess, and don't take my word for it, go to the website, you'll learn all the details. But what you can do is if you get there and they're not sold out, then you can have the seat for free. But it's the concept of if they're a sold out flight and you're encroaching, and that's you asked earlier, like what determines
Right.
if you are in need of buying this extra
Right.
seat. Let's use the football analogy. If you cross the line of scrimmage, so that line of scrimmage is that armrest in between the 2 seats. If you cross the line of scrimmage, you are offsides, my friend.
And it's penalty you got to pay.
It's an extra.
And they're expecting people to do this on the honor system
On the
of
honor
buying
system.
2 seats. So this time of year, when we're all paying more for everything, money is
Yeah.
tight for all of us. You want someone to buy an extra seat that they may or may not need with the hope that they get it refunded.
Call it what it is.
Look.
It's a fat tax.
I mean, here's the thing. I have a Southwest card. I love Southwest. I go to Disney
Yeah.
World a lot. I can hop on and get to
Good
Orlando
airline.
very quickly. Bags fly free with kids. Like, it's perfect. I love Southwest. So please don't misunderstand. But I don't love a lot of the changes that they're making, and I don't know about this one. I get the frustration of having someone encroach on you.
Yeah.
But is telling them to self-police and buy a second seat
It's going to be
the
uncomfortable.
solution?
It's going to be uncomfortable. It is. There's going to be some awkward moments, and it made me think of something else too. What is y'all's opinion on this? So, have you ever been to Walmart, Publix?
Sure.
And they got the little scooters out front that you know where they have the
Yes.
cars. So they got the power scooters, which is typically reserved for those that have disabilities, those that maybe are recovering from injury, or those who are elderly.
Right.
What are your thoughts on people? I've seen them walk from the car, just perfectly fine into the store, and they hop on a scooter. What are your thoughts on that? And here's why I'm getting irritated. Because my mom who's 85, broke her leg 7 months ago, and is still on a walker, and she really struggles. I cannot tell you how many times we've gone to the grocery store.
And she walks around.
Yeah. There's no scooters.
Yeah. I think a lot of people take advantage of it for sure. It's difficult, but I also feel like maybe they can walk from the car because they parked in a handicap spot, so they can walk, the 50 feet from handicap into the store, but walking and doing all their grocery shopping.
I respect that. Yeah.
Maybe too much.
Carts, that's for them. Power carts for that person. I'm talking about the person that does not have a handicap sticker.
Yeah, that just parks wherever.
They're just feeling a little lazy that day. Yeah. Just wants to cruise around on a moped.
Well, there's always grocery pickup available.
Yeah,
for them,
that would never cross my mind. But no, my mama raised me better than that. That's all I'll say.
if you don't need those, devices,
right,
leave them for the ones that truly do.
Absolutely,
sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's kind of selfish, and
it's very selfish.
Yeah. And it makes me mad when my mom, 85 years old, is recovering from her injury, and I see her have to get up on a cart and now walk through the store. Right. She's struggling, and there's some lazy dude that's just wanting to free ride, cruise around. I'd like to snatch him off that scooter.
And then sometimes, it looks like, they should probably even kind of clean up a little. Sometimes I've seen that, and that's, it's just kind of.
Should there be a dress code to go to the grocery store?
Well, we had talked about this with flying. They want to have a dress code. The amount of people I see in pajamas. The amount of people I see in pajamas.
On an airplane?
Well, not even on an airplane, but picking up their kids from school at 3, 4 o'clock. Walking into the school, still in their pajamas. And it just blows my mind. Just blows my mind.
Our standards have dropped.
Clothes. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love some leggings and stuff. I'm wearing them right now. I've worked out.
I love some cozy pajamas.
But I'm not going to wear my pajamas out.
No.
Yeah. No. Liliana would never be in a million years caught dead doing that. Yeah. Oh, bizarre times we live in. One other little thing before we take our first break, and this one is a little bit more sad. And look, I did a good job of scouring the internet for stories that were non-political, non-combative, non-confrontational, because I knew I had the power twins in today. So
the ladies of MOQ.
Yeah, the ladies of MOQ, so I want to be sure we had an appropriate show. This one's not political, but it is a bizarre one. So down in Miami, Florida, they discovered a 32-year-old female doctor inside of a freezer. She was dead at a dollar store.
How does that even happen?
I know. So, and I guess she was traveling here. She's not even a citizen. She was here from, is it Nicaragua? Where was she from? Ooh, I took poor notes. She's from a different country, maybe Honduras. Nicaragua, I was right.
So maybe she thought it was the bath, which it makes this even more tragic.
Which would
maybe
be heartbreaking.
She thought it was the bathroom, got in, and I don't think you can open those things from the inside.
Yeah, they kind of lock.
I feel like I've heard that
terrible.
Before. That's
well,
tragic.
And so when they found her, she was naked, which makes sense because when people go through that frostbite deal, you start stripping clothes off, right?
You're just kind of almost
your
delirious.
Mind, what you're feeling, you think you're burning up. But this is bizarre. They don't know if this was a criminal deal. I think you're probably going to find out it's something what you just said, Charlie.
What my unfortunately, what my instinct would be is
looking for a bathroom.
She just was looking for a bath. Because why else would someone that doesn't work there be in there?
Yeah.
Wow, that's tragic.
It is.
Heartbreaking.
It is tragic. So, but hey, this was not political. It wasn't confrontational. It was just a little, little something I found.
Sad. Yeah.
It's hard to find news that's always cheery and uplifting.
Well, yes, that's a sign, another sign of the times.
We're going to save that for the second segment. We come back more. We're going to give you some good tips on Christmas shopping, Christmas dining, and maybe even where to go see some cool Christmas lights. We'll be right back.
Pony Express Liquidators is the place to visit before you make any purchase if you're remodeling or building a new home. They have great deals on just about everything you'll need and up to 50% off the big box stores. Bathroom vanities, bathroom sinks and kitchen sinks, windows, hardware, and still-in-the-box doors and screen doors. Now that's what I was looking for. 2 locations to serve you, 361 Fundenberg Drive in Monticello or Highway 11 in Mansfield.
Here's Evan Youngblood for Youngblood Tractor in Madison.
Did you know Youngblood Tractor is much more than just tractors? Sure, we have the biggest selection of Massey Ferguson tractors around and all the attachments you could ever need. But did you know we also carry the Kawasaki side-by-side lineup like the legendary Kawasaki Mule, Terex, and Ridge? That's Kawasaki's new cab model with heat and AC. Youngblood Tractor also carries the complete Spartan zero-turn mower lineup from residential to commercial zero-turn mowers. Combine that with our massive trailer inventory of equipment, dump, enclosed, and utility trailers, you can always build a winning combination at Youngblood Tractor right here in Madison. We also feature a full parts and service department to help maintain your equipment for years to come. Whether you're a full-time farmer, hunter, or property owner looking to maintain your land, Youngblood Tractor is here to make your next outdoor project a success. Call us today at 706-342-2242 or stop by and see us at 1600 Athens Highway in Madison or shop us 24 hours a day at youngbloodtractor.com.
Looking for that perfect piece of jewelry designed just for you? At P&A Jewelers, family owned since 1976, we've been helping our customers shine for nearly 50 years. Now proudly run by second-generation brother and sister team, we specialize in custom jewelry design, expert repair work, and fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit P&A Jewelers, where family tradition sparkles. Located in Loganville beside Quick Trip, or online at shoppajewelers.com. Follow us on Facebook to see what's new.
And welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. We got a great show in store for you today. I've got two guests coming on. I got Jeff Hughes. He is the Walton County representative for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. He'll be on with us at 12:30.
Very cool.
Yeah, and then Daryl Huckabee. He's author, writer, historian, and much, much more. He'll be joining us at the 1 o'clock hour here in the studio. Charlie, let's talk about some cool Christmas things. But before we do that, your baby girl's not feeling good. It's going around right now.
It is going around.
Yeah.
She was sick over the weekend, so I kept her home yesterday. She insisted she was fine, didn't have a fever all day yesterday, so I sent her to school. They had the little chorus performance for the school, or at least half the school,
yeah.
and
She didn't want to miss that.
No. So she went, and apparently she felt like she was going to pass out,
Oh,
and
mercy.
kind of was able to get off stage. Another teacher took her to the clinic, and yeah, as I'm like literally walking in, I had picked up waters, picked up a whole bunch of things today, and walking in with my hands full, and I see the school name come across my phone, and I was like, oh gosh. And you instantly know. So luckily, mother-in-law to the rescue, came to pick her up, sat on hold with our wonderful doctor's office for about 9 minutes before I got someone. I mean, I know it's that time of year.
Yeah. It is.
Everybody's getting sick.
There's a little something floating around,
flu.
and this is when you go to parties, and I tell people, it's like, if you can, load up on vitamin C, whether it be through natural juices or the little additives you can put in your water. That makes a difference.
Emergency.
Yeah, the emergency.
Elderberry.
It's good stuff.
Good.
Love
Yeah.
elderberry.
It's stop shaking hands this time of year.
Yeah,
Like,
just a little
do
fist
the
bump.
little fist pump, do
Yeah.
the elbows that we used to do back in the day. But yeah, it's tough this time of year.
Well, the other thing, too, is as cold as it got last night, down into the low 20s, this is where you have a chance, if there's moisture on the road, slow down. You don't know, especially at night. It's hard to see the black ice if it's out there. And this is the time of year when people are stressed out, in a hurry, going to the airport, going to a party. Just chill out, slow down, relax.
Everybody's got somewhere to be. We're
Yeah.
all running a little late. We all have 15 tabs in our brain open,
Yes.
and we're all thinking about 100 other things. But yeah, just be aware. Yeah.
Now, the good side is, let's talk about some holiday lights. So, Charlie,
So
you've got a
fun.
go-to place.
All my friends talk about this place. I have not actually been, but it is like the place to go for everyone in Walton, Madison, Morgan, everywhere around here. It's in Madison. It's called Christmas on Dixie. They just started opening 7 days a week. They are open like 5:30 until 10 o'clock. And it's just a walk-through light display. There's inflatables. There's cute little vignettes that you can take pictures with.
Oh, so you actually get out of your car for this?
Yes, yeah. This is
Okay.
not a drive-through. This is
Wow.
like a walk-through thing.
Okay.
It's somebody's property, is my understanding. And they have Santa there sometimes. They have the Grinch there sometimes.
That is too cool.
Like this weekend, they've got a big and it's all free. That's the cool thing. It's all free. Now, of course, they ask for donations. They encourage you to donate.
You got to pay the light bill
for
Yeah,
sure. But
right.
I mean, you would spend $100 if you went to see the lights at Lake Lanier. So
Yeah.
you can throw them $20, throw them $50 kind of thing.
Have you been to this one, Chastity?
Christmas on
No,
Dixie?
I haven't been to that one, so
It's
I'm gonna have to check it
on
out.
Dixie Highway in Madison, 2300. It opens on Thanksgiving, and I mean, if you go,
gonna
you
have to
will
go
see
check that out.
someone you know. It's all my friends. I feel like everyone I know goes.
My boys are now 22 and 24. No way would they like to go. But
They'll get there
throw a
again.
little hot chocolate in the car. They'll be in.
For sure.
They revert to 8-year-olds like that.
Yeah. It's fun. You don't want to admit it, but yeah, it's so fun. So I have not been myself, but as much as everyone I know talks about it, I would highly recommend Christmas on Dixie.
And Chastity, you've got some other ones that maybe aren't so local but are regional.
Well, yeah, we definitely, there is over in Athens at the State Botanical Garden.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Over at 2450 South Millage Avenue.
That's beautiful.
They have a beautiful.
You've seen that one?
Illuminated display.
I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's
And is that a drive-through one again, or do you
No,
park?
it's walk-through.
Yeah, it's like a free, like a tree
Walkthrough.
forest type thing. So yeah, it's really.
It's a lot like the Botanical Gardens in Atlanta, but
Wow.
it's here in Athens, so
Yep.
it's closer for us
Yeah.
on this side of town, and it's very nice. Yes.
And hot chocolate and cookies. So that's
Wow.
always a
That's the
sweet
plus
treat.
side.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Stone Mountain Christmas. Santa is there.
Yes.
And, of course, they have their drone and light show, which is really cool. So definitely go by there. And they have a lot of the hot chocolate, sweet treats as well.
For
But
sure.
Yeah, do they
anywhere-
still do the little village, the Christmas
Yes.
village?
Yes.
That is pretty cool.
It is
It's
very
been years
cool.
since
Yeah,
I've been there.
Les
I love it.
had been giving away tickets so for
Yes.
family 4-pack of tickets, and we had a family 4-pack
Yeah.
of tickets when we were at the parade. So he might still be able to hook
Yeah,
you
maybe
up.
maybe for by Friday's
Yeah.
show we'll get some.
Keep
Yeah, let's
listening.
talk about that, yeah.
Never
Well, a
know.
little giveaway.
Might be some free
I
Stone
like
Mountain
that.
tickets on board. That'd be great.
Yeah.
And then, of course, who doesn't love going to the zoo? And then you put the zoo with Christmas lights.
Even
just
better.
magical.
I love
so,
it.
over at the Atlanta Zoo at Grant Park, festive magical experience.
That's
for
so fun.
All families.
I
So-
love that they make these places kind of seasonal and give it a little extra element. Because
Yeah.
I mean, going to the zoo, especially when you have kids, is fun anytime.
Absolutely.
But then when they do like the haunted and the Halloween decorations,
Little
and they do
theme
like
to it.
Boo
Yeah.
at the zoo, like then it's fun. And then
It's
doing
like-
like holiday
yes.
lights, like I love this. They've got some great marketing people.
Yep.
They do.
Gotta go.
They do.
Gotta
Yeah.
go.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. We're planning out our Christmas ventures. Okay, let's talk about shopping. We've got our
Yes.
great small town destinations, whether it's downtown Watkinsville, Athens, Madison, Monroe, Winder. All those have charming small town areas with tons of proprietors that have great gift ideas from now until Christmas. Where are some of your go-to places? Where do y'all like to go?
My go-tos are usually in downtown Monroe. I like Gifted in downtown Monroe. It's kind of like a little hodgepodge of all kinds of literally like cute little gifts.
Yeah.
Usually the Armory, and they just reopened. They had a flood.
Yes.
There's like piping in their ceiling kind of fell through, ruined a whole bunch of stuff. And so they were closed all last week, but they actually reopened today at 10.
Wow, okay.
I'm a big fan of the Armory. It's like a Christian bookstore,
Me
but I
too.
feel like it's so much more, right? It's so much more
just
than a
love
bookstore.
that store.
It's a great store. My
Very
kids love going
inviting.
there. Yes. That's one of my go-tos for sure.
Well, I'm going to emphasize, people, if you still haven't gone to Stone Mountain Pecan, you got to go check it out.
Yes.
Great last-minute stocking stuffers there. And so, that's, what about you, Chastity? Where's your go-to when you got to get last-minute Christmas shopping or just regular
So,
Christmas shopping?
I agree with Charlie. I'm definitely a shop local first. I love shopping downtown Monroe, Roots, Rents,
So rents.
Yes.
I do love some rents.
Scoops. Gotta have
What do
some
you,
ice
you
cream.
can't buy ice cream for a Christmas present.
not?
It'd melt by then.
They're gift cards.
Gift cards, yeah.
Yes.
Buy a
Kids
little
love
quart,
that.
put it in the
Yeah.
freezer.
What's a
Or
scoop
a
of
little
ice cream?
cute little sucker, and then stick the little gift
The
card
thing
on
about
there.
Scoops is it's not just ice cream. And that's part of the reason I don't love going there with my kids is because of all the candies and all the little stuffies they have when you walk in to
It's
get
hard to
the
walk
ice
out,
cream.
yeah.
It's that's why I love Scoops, but I have a love-hate
Yes.
relationship with Scoops because it's always $100 every time I
And
walk
they have
in.
their fudge area.
They do. They have
Is it
chocolate
good
and
fudge?
strawberries
Yes.
and candy
Very good.
apples. Yep.
Yes.
See, I go in there. I'll just gain 5 pounds. Going,
See,
walking
we
through the
always
door.
do this. We always revert back to talking
Yeah.
about food, and decadent
where our heart
stuff.
is.
Yeah, we're
Well,
never talking about kale. Who wants to talk about that?
Yeah, wait, who wants to talk about salad? Well, speaking of food, now let's talk about where do you go to eat? Because again, last night Liliana and I were in Athens doing our Christmas shopping there. Some of our Christmas shopping there, and we decided to eat out at a Mexican place there. So oftentimes you find yourself going to grab a bite to eat wherever you went to go shop, whether it's at the mall, whether it's in downtown Monroe, Watkinsville. What are some of your go-to places that you don't get to normally? So a place that you would go to just because it's a holiday season, or just
Oh,
because
okay,
you're off your normal beaten path.
Yeah. So in Athens, it's actually very close to like the Oconee County shopping district where, everything is right there. Where the Costco is and everything is Taqueria Tsunami.
I forgot about that.
That's one of my favorites, just because it's not super close. I mean, it's not far, but it's not super close, so I don't.
That's
kind of
like a trendy Mexican place, right?
It's almost like Asian Mexican. It's like you get a taco, but it's like a Baja kind of taco that's got like an Asian slaw on it. Yum. It's delicious.
Wow.
It's one of my favorites, but I don't get there often.
Yeah.
For like a girls' night, it would probably be like the Row or Brown Fig in downtown Monroe.
Yeah. Good destinations.
Yeah. With the family, it's probably going to be something like Your Pie, or like last night we were at San Andres. So yeah, just kind of all those things.
What about you, Chastity? Where's your go-to?
So,
or an off the beaten path place for you?
I love pasta. So, but kind of off the beaten path. It's kind of hard to say because I love a good place like somewhere like Campton's where you can get a vegetable plate.
Yes,
that's a
good hearty vegetable.
See, that's
favorite.
like 5 minutes from my house. So I go there often.
Stuff,
But I'm with you. I love pasta, and so the news place that we found, and it is truly off the beaten path because it's almost in an industrial area in Athens. It's not where you would normally see restaurants. It's called Osteria Olio. Fantastic pizza.
I've heard you mention that place a few times.
Yeah, really good. That's our kind of date night place that we'll go.
Okay, yeah.
Great vibe, great ambiance, and really fantastic food. So yeah, that definitely is a go-to for us, and that's where we'll go if we find ourselves in Athens doing some shopping. Like, hey, we're 5 minutes away. Let's go there.
Why not?
But I'll warn you, if you want to go there, especially on a Friday or Saturday, you got to have a reservation.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty tough to get into just walking in.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's not that it's a pricey place. I mean, it's not.
But it's
I wouldn't say it's
fun.
cheap, but it is. It's just fun, and they do a really
Different,
good business. Yeah.
Obviously, and they have good food if they have a wait. So
Yes.
that's even
Must
better.
be doing something right.
You're doing something right. That's right. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Charlie, Chastity, this is a lot of fun. I enjoyed this. Charlie, I know you got to go rescue baby from the school.
I am. My mother-in-law's been with us for a few days, and I think she did not plan to stay with us. So yeah, I've got to go relieve her.
We'll go get some chicken noodle soup and get her back to health.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right.
Yep.
Well, thanks for joining us, folks. We'll be back in just a minute. Our guest will be, who is our first guest? It is Jeff Hughes. He is the Walton County representative for the FCA. That's a Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
There's something about a clock. It keeps working even when you don't think about it. All day, all night. Behind the clock is a machine you'll never see. Always reliable, always accurate. It wasn't a mistake when we named our heating and air company Clockwork. Yeah, some folks call us and ask if we can fix their watches. We can't. But we can fix your furnace and air conditioning brilliantly, so it runs like a clock. Runs when you're not even thinking about it. But there's something else about the clock in Clockwork Heating and Air Conditioning. We have mad respect for time. We make ourselves available on your time. We never waste your time. And we're at your house in a timely manner. This is what it means to work like clockwork. Clockwork Heating and Air Conditioning. Clockwork-air.com.
One of the fun parts of Christmas is the dazzling light displays. Some are tasteful and elegant. Others are a little over the top. Whether gaudy or gorgeous, it's hard to imagine Christmas without lights. Yet very few realize why light is so important at Christmas. Man is naturally drawn to spiritual darkness. The Bible says light has come into the world, but people love darkness instead of the light. Here's the hard truth. The light of Jesus exposes the sin in my heart and yours. Fearing that exposure, we reject him and choose to remain in the dark. Bad mistake. His light keeps us from stumbling through the darkness. Christmas is the annual birthday celebration of Jesus, the light of the world, who came to dispel the darkness. Christmas lights are a reminder of Jesus, who overcame the spiritual darkness of this world. This is Bryant Wright, wishing you a Merry Christmas, speaking right from my heart.
For devotion.
This Christmas shopping season, give the gift of outdoors from Outdoor Specialty, serving Watkinsville and the surrounding area since 2002 with a wide variety of plants, trees, shrubs, ground cover, and more. Plus, you'll find a full line of irrigation supplies like sprinkler heads, pipe replacement parts, and more. Add some beauty to someone's home with a huge selection of pottery, landscape stones, mulch, and more. In the Garden Center, see their great selection of bird houses, bird feeders, and don't forget the Coles bird seed. The deer love Christmas too. Be sure to pick up some of Elsie's apple-flavored deer corn. This Christmas, stop in and say hello to Elsie, Diane, and their friendly staff at Outdoor Specialty, 1460 Greensboro Highway in Watkinsville. Wishing you and your family the very best this Christmas season. Call 706-769-8737 or go to OutdoorSpecialtyNursery.com.
And welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. That was a lot of fun, Chastity. Good way to open the show with some lighthearted Christmas talk, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I wish we could do that every day.
Every day.
But
Let's
tomorrow I'm back into the meat and potatoes. I'm digging into something tomorrow. So I took one day off.
There you go.
Behaved myself.
That'll work.
Our next guest, Jeff Hughes. He is the Walton County representative for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, FCA. Jeff, thanks for joining us, sir.
Thanks for having me.
So I figured let's let our listeners know a little bit about yourself. So tell us about you and your family and your upbringing.
All right. Well, where do I start? That's a big question right there. So I've lived in Loganville for over 30 years.
Okay.
My wife Sabrina and I, and we've raised our family in Loganville. Our kids went to Loganville High School, and so I've got a son and a daughter.
Are they graduated? Or they're still in high school?
They're graduated. My son's 29 and my daughter's 24.
Okay.
I have two little grandsons.
Congratulations.
Thank you. They're awesome. They visited Santa yesterday and did not enjoy it. They got the classic crying picture. Yeah.
They wanted nothing to do with them?
They wanted nothing to do with it, right. But yeah, we love this community.
Yeah.
We love Walton County. It's a special place to live, I believe.
I agree with you.
So yeah, I grew up playing sports.
So athletics were a part of your upbringing?
Absolutely. I started playing baseball when I was 5 years old.
Okay.
And I tell people I've been part of a baseball team my whole life, pretty much, since I was 5 years old.
So either in a player capacity or a coaching
capacity in one level or another.
Yeah.
And then as a coach. So.
Well, did you grow up? Where was that time? Where were you when you were 5? Where did you grow up?
So I'm originally from Chattanooga.
Okay.
My family moved to Swanee in the, early 80s. I went to North Gwinnett High School, played sports at North Gwinnett High School.
Yeah.
And
baseball was that your sport in high school too?
Well, I did everything. I was talking with Coach Jeff Siggers the other day about it. That's what we did back then. We played everything. I played baseball, basketball, and football. Sports were a big part of my life.
And how did that influence you, do you think? Because obviously FCA incorporates sports with faith, right? It brings the two together.
Yep.
So let's talk about those separately. So first off, sports, how do you think that has shaped you or influenced you?
Oh, gosh, man. Sports, I guess if I had to give one top thing, it helped me from a discipline standpoint.
Sure.
Yeah. The discipline it takes to be an athlete, you've got to be somewhere on time, and you've got to be consistent. You've got to understand the process that it takes to become someone who gets to play in the games. I was talking with a young man yesterday, and I was telling him, who do you think Coach plays? Coach plays people that they trust, right?
Right.
So you've got to earn that trust, and I think work ethic, persistency,
and knowing your teammates are counting on you.
Absolutely, being being on a team, for sure. And having your brothers around you. And then I would think probably leadership is somewhere in there as well. It was the first time in my life I can remember being a senior in high school that I started thinking of myself as a leader. And so sports really helped shape leadership.
Yeah, so it starts at that point where you're starting to command the respect of your fellow teammates. And
it was the first time that I realized that.
Yeah.
I had a younger teammate, walk up to me and tell me how much influence I had on him. And I was like, wow, I never really paid attention or thought that someone else was watching me.
Oh, they're watching you, and it's funny because, you'll read stories about famous legendary athletes, and one that comes to mind for me is Gordie Howe, legendary hockey player, arguably the most, the most prominent hockey player in the history of the game because he could do it all.
Right.
And Gordie Howe was known for never missing a practice.
Yep.
It was never too good to skip practice because he knew the younger guys were watching him.
Yep. And I had the same mentality. I didn't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
Especially as you get older, you start realizing that sports is not something you get to do forever.
Yeah.
And I think we take it for granted when we're younger. But when I started getting older and I realized, I can't do this forever. I didn't want to miss anything. And so, and that carried over into life. You got to show up for your family. You got to show up for your kids. You can't take a day off or quit, right, when things get hard. And, being an athlete certainly carried over for me in life.
Yeah, good correlation. I like that. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. My guest is Jeff Hughes. He is the Walton County representative for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, FCA. Jeff, where did faith come into the equation for you?
Wow, I'm happy that you asked that question. So I found God at an early age. I had grandparents that were very influential. My parents, we grew up going to church, and I'm gonna be honest. My family, we had some struggles. My mom and dad went through this divorce when I was little, and it was tough. And I was kind of in between, and I found God early in my life, and God was a source for strength and peace and comfort for me. And even though I was young, I knew that God was real, so that's where it started for me. And I just feel like I've always had, God to lean on, especially during tough times.
Yeah, amen to that.
And I went through some tough times as a little boy. And I wouldn't want anybody.
How old were you when your
through.
parents were divorced?
This was like 5, 6, 7.
Ooh, that is tough.
It was
Mercy.
tough, yeah. And my dad was my hero, and my mom was my favorite, person. And
sure.
To see them going through that, it was hard. And I can remember just wishing it was over. Wishing that this process that they were going through was over, and it just seemed like it went on and went on. And but I had two things in my life that were sort of foundational for me. I had my faith in God.
Yep.
And for little kids, sometimes God is this mystical thing, but for me, I knew He was real.
Yeah.
And I think God gave me sports. I had a friend of mine when I was a little boy asked me if I wanted to play baseball, and I was like, yeah, and I never really played baseball. And I can remember first practice, I go out on the field, the first baseball ever thrown to me, hit me right in the face. Hit me right in the nose. I got a bloody nose, and for whatever reason, that didn't deter me. I said, I'm going to go back and stayed with it.
Yeah, that could have been the last practice for a lot of kids. Seriously, I'm done.
Yeah. But no, for me, I was like, no, this is what I want to do. And sports and my faith, kind of kept me grounded through some tough times. And with sports, I could go out on the field and just be a little kid and not worry about what was going on at home. And so I think that was a gift, and it was a gift that God has continued to bless me with over the years.
At what point do you think that now these two intersect? Were you, because you talked about at some point in your high school sports journey, you realized, hey, I'm becoming a leader, and people are looking at me, and then you've got your faith element to this. At what point did you say, hey, there's something bigger? Were you part of FCA in high school?
That's I don't talk about this a whole lot, but we had FCA in high school, and I was I would say I was a Christian athlete, but I was kind of quiet. I was more introverted, not necessarily extroverted. I like to lead by example. Looking back over my life when I was younger, and I wasn't necessarily the kid that was wouldn't talk to anybody. I was just more reserved and more quiet, and so if someone asked me about my faith, I could talk about it, but I wasn't a really vocal kid. I just tried to lead by example.
You weren't going out there and spreading the gospel, so to speak, by word, but
just by my
example.
actions.
Yeah.
Right. People would ask me, why don't you do this, that, or the other? And I would explain, well, this is what I believe. But I wouldn't say I was being sort of active in that. And to be honest with you, the reason was, and I look back now, is I just didn't feel like I was good enough to be able to share that. What would people think if I spoke wrong or if I said the wrong things, right? And I didn't want to misspeak or whatever. But I knew in my heart, what I believed, and it was my foundation for my life, and it was my core, and it was instrumental. But I did not participate in FCA.
Was it offered at your school?
It was. We had FCA.
Yeah. Okay.
So I went to college. I went to Berry College, and I thought I wanted to be a coach right out of high school.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a head football coach, I thought, or some kind of coach, and coaching was in my heart. But at some point, I started thinking about what I needed to do, and to be honest with you, I felt like that the Lord was leading me, but I was like, I kind of know what I should do. I should go into business, and I need to make money, and I need to be able to support my family because I had a vision of what I wanted my life to look like, and I had a vision of what I didn't want it to look like, and I thought I needed to go into business. So I went to Barry, got a business education, and I went into the business world. I spent a lot of my life in the financial services industry, but I always felt like if I look back, there were these times when there were these opportunities that came up, right? And I would always say, well, I'm not good enough for that. These Moses moments, I am not Moses, but I can certainly relate how he felt, and I'm not well spoken enough. I'm not a pastor. I'm not this, that, or the other. And I would always think why I can't do something. And then in 2009, so I have a son. He's playing baseball, and I'm coaching him. And in 2009, I heard about this thing called FCA baseball. And I reached out to this guy named Bob Wiedemann in Atlanta, and he was looking for some coaches to disciple and to partner with. And I was like, man, this is exactly what I'm about, and it gives me a platform to share my faith with young people. And so I love baseball and I love God, and so with Bob we started doing FCA baseball in Loganville, and so what we would do is we would do what we call bucket talks with kids every day after practice, which was basically a short devotion with the kids. We would pray with the kids. And at some point, we went on some mission trips. We went to the Dominican Republic. We took our young guys, over to the DR with FCA. And, I just started to get connected with people involved with FCA. And so over the years, I started volunteering and serving and doing what I could as a person in the business world. Also, like I said, coached on the side, and I began to find myself, began to find confidence in being able to share my faith. And
at what age was this now for you?
I'm in my 30s.
Say late.
I'm in my 30s.
You're moving through life now.
Yeah, and and I remember we had a moment on a baseball field where I prayed, and 3 of my young baseball players accepted Christ.
Wow.
Whew.
Wow. Isn't that something?
It was awesome, and I was like, wow. That just happened, and God spoke through me and guided me and helped me speak to these young men. And so, like I said, I began to grow in my confidence and not just have this faith, but to be able to share it, right? And FCA was the platform for that.
And everybody's mission is different. Everybody's makeup is different. We'll talk about that in the second hour. You listen to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Jeff Hughes. He is the Walton County representative of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. But if you look at different makeups that people have, some people are more vociferous, right? Mm-hmm. And they like that
My
platform.
wife's that way.
Yeah, I mean, and that's their wheelhouse, right?
Yep.
They're able to get out there, and then some people, it's different. And I think it's important that you use your faith and your relationship with Christ that fits you, right? And that's what people are going to see, and that's what's going to draw them to you. And like you said, they'll begin to ask questions. Hey, Coach, how do you do this? What's important to you? Why do you behave that certain way? And then that opens the door for that ministry.
And God started to use me, and I look back now, and God knew how He made me. He knew that I would love sports, and He gave me sports as a gift. And He just put me where, I could be the best conduit for Him, I guess.
And think of that, because think of the pastors of churches and the pastors that we know, Jonathan House of Greystone, Tommy Fountain of 1025. These guys get on a stage and they have a command of the stage, right? Yep. I mean, that is just their wheelhouse.
And I have that on the field.
And that's what I'm saying. So all of a sudden now you find this avenue, this vessel for you, that you have that same deal, but it's in your realm and it's in your comfort zone.
Yeah, people, I had a friend named Greg that told me one day, he says, when you're on the baseball field, you're not the same guy, as you are in the office. And that hit me one day, and I was like, wow, he's right. This was all part of this whirlwind. I'm not to get too long, but I'm working my business, and I feel like I'm doing good things, and supporting my family, but inside I had this something telling me that there was more.
There was more to be done.
Yes, and that God had a different plan for me, and that I had more potential that I wasn't using. I had talents and things that God gave me that I wasn't maximizing. And so there's a whole story behind that, which we can get into if you want to.
We're going to dig into that in the second segment. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, more with Jeff Hughes. He is a representative for Walton County FCA.
Thank you.
I know it's getting cold, but Loganville Ford is heating things up. That's right, Loganville Ford is turning up the heat with the year-end sales event. We've got a full lot with thousands and thousands of dollars off brand new Fords. If you're looking for reliability and value, check out our lineup of Ford certified pre-owned vehicles. All inspected, road tested, so you can drive with confidence. But hurry, when the clock hits midnight on December 31st, these deals will melt away. Loganville Ford, big savings, hot deals, even in the cold.
If you're selling or buying a home, you should call AM/PM Septic to inspect your septic tank. This could save you on costly repairs. AM/PM pumps your tank, fixes septic alarms, drain lines. They can fix any problem you're having with your septic tank. Call 770-231-7979. They do inspection letters. AM/PM is family owned and operated, licensed and insured company. Call David for all your septic needs. 770-231-7979.
From touchdown celebrations to new home celebrations, I'm Realtor Josh Parker, and I'm here to help you score big in the real estate game. Enjoy the game and make sure you've got your home team ready for the next big play. Contact me directly at 770-601-9599 or online at RealtorJoshParker.com. Be sure to like and follow me on Facebook as well at Realtor Josh Parker for updates on the real estate market and new listings in your area, from Monroe to Madison to Covington, Conyers, and Winder. It's all online.
Since 1979, the Tim Stewart Funeral Home family has been caring for families in their time of need. The Tim Stewart family pledges to honor your loved one with excellence in service, compassion, and will guide you in making the right decisions. To learn more about the Tim Stewart Funeral Home family, stop in at one of their 3 locations in Monroe, Loganville, and Lawrenceville. Call 770-267-2594 or go to stewartfh.com.
This
Real Country. This is Q92.
This Christmas shopping season, give the gift of outdoors from Outdoor Specialty, serving Watkinsville and the surrounding area since 2002 with a wide variety of plants, trees, shrubs, ground cover, and more. Plus, you'll find a full line of irrigation supplies like sprinkler heads, pipe replacement parts, and more. Add some beauty to someone's home with a huge selection of pottery, landscape stones, mulch, and more. In the Garden Center, see their great selection of bird houses, bird feeders, and don't forget the Coles bird seed. The deer love Christmas too. Be sure to pick up some of Elsie's apple-flavored deer corn. This Christmas, stop in and say hello to Elsie, Diane, and their friendly staff at Outdoor Specialty, 1460 Greensboro Highway in Watkinsville. Wishing you and your family the very best this Christmas season. Call 706-769-8737 or go to OutdoorSpecialtyNursery.com.
And welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Jeff Hughes. He is the Walton County Area Representative for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. You may know it better as FCA. And Jeff, let's do just that. Tell us, what is FCA? What do y'all do?
So I want to make sure I do this the right way and I say the right things. But it's an unbelievable ministry. It's a sports ministry. It's an international ministry. So we're all over the world.
So not just the United States?
Not just the United States, which is really cool.
That is interesting.
I love our vision. Our vision is, why we do what we do is to see the world transformed by Jesus Christ through the influence of coaches and athletes. So coaches and athletes. And we believe coaches have tremendous influence.
Sure.
And so that is why we do what we do. Our mission, this is what we do, is to lead every coach and athlete into a growing relationship with Jesus Christ and His church. So that's what I'm doing every day. I'm working to connect with coaches and athletes with that mission in mind. We have this thing called the 4 C's, and it's kind of who we focus on: coaches, camps, campus, and community. And we have a strategy that we follow to connect with young people and coaches, and that is called E3, and that means engage, equip, and empower. So what we want to do is we want to engage through genuine relationships, and that takes consistency, and that means being there every day and connecting with folks, and equipping through God's Word and Scripture, and then empowering to engage and equip others. So ultimately what we want to do is make disciples who make disciples. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So we want to equip coaches and young people with the tools that I didn't necessarily have when I was a high school athlete, to be able to share the good news of Jesus Christ with others.
And athletics is just the conduit.
Athletics is the platform. Yeah. It's the conduit. And I had a good friend of mine told me this one time. He said, for a lot of people, sports are a religion, and for a lot of people, their church is the ball field, and that's where they go on the weekends, and that's where they are. And with FCA, we take our ministry to where those people are.
You had mentioned, so you go to Barry, you get a business degree, you
Right.
enter the financial services world, so I'm imagining there's trajectory with your career.
Yes.
And then you mentioned also you felt like there was something missing. You had a calling to do something else. Was there a point where then you had to make a decision and you left that career to
Yeah.
do this full time? Is that where you are now?
Yes. So, about 6 or so years ago now, around 2019, 2020, I'm in a real good place business-wise. I'm comfortable, we'll say, right? And I'm working with some really good people, and I'd always prayed and wished that I could work close to home, and that had finally happened. And good things were going on professionally, but I just felt unfulfilled. I felt like, again, that there was something missing. And
The money was there, but the satisfaction wasn't.
right, I could have retired from what I was doing, to be honest with you, and I was getting, I was early 50s at this point, and so we're getting into 2020, and a close friend of mine, who was the president and the founder of our business, passed away on a February day. She went out to walk her dog, and she had a heart attack and passed away. Her name was Beverly, and that hit me pretty hard. And Beverly wasn't the first person I've lost in my life, but for whatever reason, God used that to get my attention.
Okay.
So I try not to get emotional when I tell the story,
Sure.
but
Yeah, I can see why.
it's still heavy on my heart. Yeah. But God used that to kind of get my attention, and there were so many different things. One of the things, Beverly was close to me in age. She was very successful. She was getting ready to retire and go enjoy life and the fruits of her labor, and she didn't get to do that.
Yeah.
And part of that story is, I realized that life is short, and that we should be doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Amen. Yep.
And so I'm going through a little bit of a funk, we'll call it. And my wife picks up on this, right? And somewhere between COVID and this happening, life slows down a little bit. And so I have this space, and we're having dinner together and time together, which, before COVID, we're racing all over the place. And so we sat down, and she said, "What's going on?" And I tell her in a longer version of the story, "Hey, your husband is going through it."
Yeah, because you now have this event that takes place in your life, and you know that there's something that's stirring in your spirit.
Right.
You feel that there's a direction that you need to go.
Yeah, so she looks at me, she says, "If you could do anything you wanted to do and money wasn't an issue, what would you do?" And I was like, "Really?" And she said, "Yes. You've been a good father, you've been a good husband, you've taken care of us." And I said, "Well, really, you want to know, I feel like I enjoy working with young people. I love encouraging people. I love connecting and maybe sharing my faith with others and just trying to make a difference in our world. And I haven't been doing that." And she looked at me and she said, whew, still heavy sometimes to talk about. She said, "You should figure that out and you should do it." And I was like, "Really?" And she said, "Yes, you have my blessing."
She's giving you the green light.
She gave me the green light. And so, Mark, what I did is I just started talking to God every day, and I would go on long walks. And, this is during COVID now. And I would go on long walks, and I would just say, "God, you made me for a purpose, and I know I'm not living that purpose. So if you have something else that you want me to do, I'm going to do it. Just make it clear to me, open the door, and I will follow you." And I prayed that prayer for a year, just about.
Yeah.
And I didn't know when I had that conversation with my wife what it was going to be, right? I didn't know what God was going to do or what.
Was FCA even in the back of your mind at this point?
Well, it's funny. I look back over some notes that I wrote down of possibilities of things that I could do, and FCA was on that list.
Yeah.
I did a brainstorm one day, and there was a lot of things, but FCA was on that list. But to be honest with you, no, it wasn't in the forefront of my mind.
Interesting.
I just was totally open to whatever God wanted.
You knew
me to
something
do.
was out there, but you
I knew it.
Yeah.
And I'd always known it, but for the first time, I was like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I had no fear at this point. And Beverly's passing. I don't know. So we get through COVID, and we're starting to reconnect with people. And I'm having lunch with a friend of mine who I had met with through FCA and through serving and on our mission trips to the DR and stuff, and through FCA baseball. And randomly, he looks at me. His name's Mike Roby, and he says, "You ever thought of working with FCA?" And I was like, "We need to talk." And in that moment, I knew that that's what
there
God
was the door
to do.
Yeah.
Yes. And I sometimes joke, why did Mike ask me that? Well, I knew it was that, probably the Lord put that on his heart.
That is just fantastic.
And so, yeah, Mike came to meet with me, and he's from Henry County at the time, and so we had this lunch, and then I got connected with April McClendon, who was here in Walton County, and we had lunch, and she said, "I've been praying God would send me someone." So I'm like, wow. So, Mark, what I like to do when I'm going through a process of making a decision is I like to think about it, pray about it, and seek counsel. So among those things, I sat down with these guys that I have around me, and I shared with them the longer version of the story. And I asked them, tell me what you think. And they all went around the room, and they all looked at me and said, that's what you should be doing.
And that's something. That's a great story. I love that. I just gave a speech to a small Turning Point chapter here in Walton County the other night on just this exact same thing of doors opening, right? And the difference between you kicking a door open and God opening a door for you.
Oh, yeah.
And I've done them both.
Yep.
I've kicked doors open that I shouldn't have,
Yep.
and I've also walked by doors that God had opened. And I just love this story of how you were open. Your heart was open. You're praying about it, and then the events take place. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. We're interviewing Jeff Hughes. He is the Walton County area representative for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Jeff, that's a great story. I love it. So now your time in the ministry, do you have, and we've got about 2 minutes left, do you have any stories, impact stories that you want to share from your perspective that maybe is for a young person, something that you saw transform in front of you?
Yeah, so first two impacts. First, my life, I'm not the same person that I was, and that feeling that I had is of unfulfilled, purpose is, God will do amazing things for you if you allow him to, right?
Yeah.
So I quit my job and jumped into this ministry where I have to ask people to support me, and the Lord made that happen. And my confidence in my Heavenly Father is tremendous in what he's doing. And so a story I will tell is one I'm thinking of is there's so many. Oh my gosh, there's so many. But one day we were on the football field, and it's hot, and I'm with the Loganville High School football team, and there's this young man named Jack, and I felt like the Lord was telling me I needed to talk with Jack. And, we're in the tail end of a 2.5 hour practice in August or September or whatever it is, and I was like, this is early in my ministry, right? And so I'm like, okay, this is football practice. You want me to do that now? And I get this feeling, yes, you got. So I'm like, all right, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. We just help me, Lord. And so we're getting done with practice, and I walk over, put my arm around Jack. I say, how you doing? How things going? How's school today? And we just got to talking, and the guys are going into the locker room, and we're still standing out there talking. And next thing I know, like 5 or so minutes into the conversation, we're talking about our faith, and we're talking about where Jack's at. And Mark, it was unbelievable. We stood there on the practice field sweating, and I'm praying with Jack, and he's accepting Jesus.
Wow.
And I walk into the locker room. I go out and get in my truck, and I drive home, and I'm like, what in the world just happened?
That's incredible. I just love that. Yeah.
So fast forward, Jack is he's playing college baseball, and at graduation I hugged him, and I said, Jack, I'll never forget that day on the football field.
Yeah.
And he said, I won't either, Coach. I'll always remember it. And I got to baptize Jack, and my prayer is that Jack is being a disciple at his college, on his baseball team.
He's continuing the mission.
He's continuing the mission. And, I look back and gosh, I could have said, no, this is not the right time for me to talk to Jack. And I'm going to be honest with you, there's times when I get a nudge and I'm like, I don't know if I feel good about doing that. And right. I get that thing in my head where but when I listen and I do what the Lord is guiding me to do, again, like I said, he will do amazing things. You just got to say yes, and so, I could tell you hundreds of stories, but that's
a great one.
That's one that I think of a lot.
Well, I love it. I love what you guys do. I love the more I've learned about FCA, I see how important it is to our school system that we have that sanctuary for young people to go and have that ministry and that opportunity to have their salvation secured. I mean, it's just it's probably needed now more than any other time in the history of our country. What you guys are doing.
I think so. I'm going to say this: you can sit behind the keyboard and vent and complain, or you can get out there and do something.
That's right.
And I am just thankful that I'm in a position to try to do something. And I will tell you, young people get a bad rap sometimes, but I see tremendous young people every day, and I'm very hopeful for the future of our country. I agree with you. Yep. Young people are hungry. They're hungry for real. They're hungry for truth, and they're searching. And it's important that there are people that are committed to being there, to mentor, to guide. And I'm just thankful that the Lord called me to do this. I get to do this every day, and every day I pinch myself, and I'm just like, I get to be on a court, a weight room, on a field, in a gym, every day rubbing elbows with coaches and athletes, and they love me. And sometimes I'm like, it's amazing that they love me, but I love them, and
that's awesome.
And they lift me up, and hopefully in some small way, I lift them up. But it's pretty incredible. Wow. And so that whole I'm not fulfilled thing, that's no longer part of who I am.
Well, Jeff, I greatly appreciate you coming and sharing this with us. Great story of inspiration, and we love what you guys do. And we'll have you back in the future.
Well,
we want to learn more and hear some more stories of success, if you will.
I appreciate it. It's been a great time talking to you.
Absolutely. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, Daryl Huckabee.
Real country. This is Q92.3 WMOQ FM, Bostwick, Monroe, Madison. Your home for real country.
Historic Rutledge Hardware is your one-stop shop for lawn and garden. They have soil, mulch, fertilizer, herbicide, pesticides, bonnie plants, flowers, and so much more. They've got you covered for your home improvement projects like painting supplies, power tools, plumbing, and electrical. They're even a Carolina cooker dealer offering cast iron cookware and stew pots, commercial cooking smallware, camper supplies, and so much more. Rutledge Hardware, making customers happy since 1891. Located at 116 Fairplay Street in Rutledge.
Is technology giving you a tough time at your home or business? Don't worry, Big Mountain Computers is here to help. We're your local tech experts, now open in Madison. Our white glove service ensures personalized solutions for all your IT needs. Hardware fixes, remote support, private lessons, and more. Visit us at Madison Plaza across from Ingalls or call 706-343-4184 to schedule your consultation. That's 706-343-4184. Big Mountain Computers, turning your mountains into molehills.
Do you have unwanted or scrap gold and silver jewelry just lying around? What about sterling flatware or gold and silver coins and bars? Madison Coin and Bullion will pay top dollar for any precious metals you own. Madison Coin and Bullion also offers a large selection of gold and silver coins and bullion available to purchase at competitive prices. And if you're looking to purchase jewelry at a considerably lower price, look no further than Madison Coin and Bullion. Madison Coin and Bullion, located at 2492 Eatonton Road in Madison, open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Keep your vehicle looking and running like new with help from the Wow Express in Monroe, offering a state-of-the-art drive-through vehicle car wash that includes free vacuums, window cleaner, and so much more. Be sure to check out their unlimited wash club that saves you money. Open 7 days a week at 911 North Broad Street in Monroe and their second location at 242 North Broad Street in Winder. To learn more, go to wowwashandlube.com.
Welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. That was a great interview, Chastity.
Yeah, it really was. That was an amazing testimony of being out there with our children, too. So.
Well, you know what? Next time, too, we'll have learn more about FCA.
I agree.
Because there's probably more meat potatoes there for us to learn and discover about what they actually do. But just great. Just love the story.
I had chills.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Sweet. Our next guest, Daryl Huckabee. He is from Porterdale, Georgia, and currently lives in Oconee County with his lovely wife, Lisa. A retired teacher with 40 years of classroom experience, Huck now owns and operates Huck's Tours and takes his guests to all 50 states and 76 foreign nations over the past 13 years. He has written a twice-weekly newspaper commentary for the past 28 years, which can now be read online by subscribing at darylhuckabee.net. Daryl, thank you for joining us, sir.
Thanks for having me.
You know, my first interaction with you was a few years back when I was visiting the Oconee County Rotary Club, and you were a guest speaker that day.
Right.
And I think I'd heard of you up to that point, but I've never really saw you in action. And I'm like, this guy's a Georgia treasure. I mean, you have so many different things, and of course, I have one of your books. You've authored, I think, 10 books. Is that right?
I think 13 now. Working on 2 more.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, the one that I have is Southern's. Let's see here. What is the name? I wrote it down here. Still Southern after all these years.
There we go.
That one's actually by my bedside.
That was the most recent.
Okay.
And then COVID hit right as that came out, so it wasn't. We had to cancel a lot of speaking engagements and a lot of book signings. So that was bad timing on that book. But we've got a couple more I've been working on that'll be out soon.
Well, it's good reading. It's lighthearted. It's fun, and it's everything that you think of growing up in Georgia. I moved to Georgia when I was 10 years old, and the stories that you tell and the little things that you share just bring you back, right, to what's taken place or what I remember as a kid growing up. Tell us about you. Where did you grow up? What did home look like for a young Daryl Huckabee?
I was born and raised in Porterdale, Georgia, which is a mill village in Newton County.
Yeah.
I was raised in a 4-room mill village house. We didn't have a bathroom in our house, so I was in the 5th grade.
Wow.
I got 6 now, counting the back porch.
The back porch does qualify as a bathroom.
But we were, it was a great place to be raised. I went to University of Georgia on a basketball scholarship.
Okay.
I was a manager. Southeastern Conference hadn't changed that much in 50 years. But I took sociology, and my professor found out that I was from a mill village, and he announced to the class, Mr. Huckabee was raised in poverty in a North Georgia mill village. My professor was obviously educated far beyond his intelligence. I told him, sir, we weren't poor in Porterdale. We just didn't have any money. And there's a big difference.
There is a big difference.
I had a great childhood, great parents who cared about me, didn't have to worry about getting in trouble, could have the run of the village, go anywhere we wanted to be, could be out the door as soon as the sun came up, didn't have to be back till street lights came on, and that's the truth. And didn't have to worry about getting in trouble because there were 2,000 sets of eyes watching you. And if you did something wrong, your mom would know about it before you got home and be waiting for you at the doorstep telling you go cut a switch. So great childhood in Porterdale, Georgia.
And I agree with you so much because my first 10 years of my life, I grew up in Michigan. I moved to Georgia when I was 10, and boy, is there a difference. The Southern culture, the Southern lifestyle, it is so different, and it's still just fresh in my mind, right? To go from A to B and have that just play out in front of you. Was there a moment early in life for you that you realized the South was different? I mean, even though you're from here, did you know how precious and special this was?
I can't say there was a moment, but I always was proud of where I was from. I always appreciated my parents and the relationships. My wife was born and raised in Conyers in Rockdale County, but she lived on a farm, her family farm. Been in her family since 1838. It was part of the original Cherokee land grant. But she didn't have the relationships growing up that I had. She doesn't seem to understand why the people that I grew up with and I are still so close together. She would go to school and had friends at school, of course, but then she'd come home to the farm and wouldn't see them except till school the next day.
Right.
My friends and I were together 24/7 almost. We were just doing things in the village and appreciated one another and still stay in close contact. So it was a special place to live.
I went to Rockdale County High School, graduated in 1988, and I moved away from Rockdale County in 1994, and I was driving through the other day because we still have some businesses there. I was driving through Porterdale, and boy, has that changed.
Yeah, it's in some ways it's real sad because some of the houses have become rental houses and have not been taken care of, while others have been bought and fixed up. So it's kind of a mixed bag down there. But, when I was born and raised in Porterdale, big manufacturing company owned the whole town. But there was a dry goods store, grocery stores, clubhouses, gymnasium, beautiful gymnasium, swimming pools. We had everything you could imagine growing up as children, and it really was a special, especially at Christmas. The highlight of our year was the day that school got out for Christmas. We had a big Christmas tree presentation in the gymnasium. Each class in the school would spend weeks learning a song. The whole village would come. The children would sing songs, and at the end, they had a 40-foot tall Christmas tree in the middle of the gym floor, and they had Christmas boxes that would be handed out to each child by the superintendent of the village. And it had oranges and nuts, hard candy, candy canes, chocolates, and that was the highlight of our Christmas. And there was a big star on the water tower, and when they lit that star, it was really Christmas.
What a memory.
We still drive to Porterdale at least once every Christmas season just so I can see the star
Take it all
on the
in.
water tank.
I love that. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Daryl Huckabee. So would you have gone to Newton County High School then?
I did. Went to Newton County High School.
Okay.
Graduated in 1970.
Okay, a few years before me, but yeah. What about this? I think you're hands down the best storyteller I've ever seen in person. Was there a moment that you discovered that you had a knack for telling a story and adding humor to it?
I don't know if there was a specific moment, but my father was a great storyteller. And back in those days, the entertainment was the families would gather on Saturday night and sit around the table, passing around a jug of moonshine that they'd gotten from the bootlegger that morning, I guess, and they would swap stories. That was the entertainment. We didn't have a television for a long time in my house, but those people had the knack for telling stories. And I'd sit on a stool in the corner when I was a little boy, 4, 5, 6 years old, and just take it all in. There was a man named B. Mills who had been a World War I veteran.
Oh, wow.
I used to love hearing his stories. My daddy told great stories, and I always have loved storytelling, the spoken word. Of course, I grew up reading Atlanta newspapers and the great writers that were there, Celestine Sibley, later Louis Grizzard, of course. And so I've always enjoyed a good story, and I've always enjoyed trying to tell a good story, too.
I think people that moved to Atlanta, that have moved here in the past 2 decades, Daryl, I don't think they appreciate two people, Ludlow Porch and Louis Grizzard.
Ludlow and Louis were stepbrothers.
I knew they were connected somehow.
Louis's mother married Ludlow's daddy.
Okay.
And Ludlow had a great radio call-in show.
The best.
He would have the Fun Seekers. The Fun Seekers would call in. I used to call in Ludlow and tell stories, and I just miss him. Of course, Louis was one of the funniest and honest, brutally honest people I've ever known. Gone long before his time.
Yeah.
Miss Lewis. Been 26 years. He's been dead 26 years.
It's been that long.
Now. It's hard
and
to believe.
think about that, because people that have moved here in the past 2 decades don't really know who he is.
That's right, and they've missed out on a treasure too.
Is there any place that still publishes a column that he would have had, or is it just archives now?
It's just archives, but
Yeah.
you can pull them up online.
Yeah.
And the Atlanta Journal-Constitution is sadly going out of business December 31st. No more printed.
No more
papers.
print, right?
They've been printing some of Lewis's columns on the front page the last few weeks, and he was just a treasure.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Daryl Huckabee. Daryl, we're going to take a break in just about 2 minutes. Any childhood stories that come to mind that maybe capture that Southern life, the special thing that we have here in Georgia?
Well, I'll tell you a funny story that I've been thinking about a lot because it's Christmas. When I was in the second grade, our second grade teacher, Miss Ruby Jordan, went home to Reidsville, Georgia over Christmas vacation and had surgery. So we started the year with a substitute teacher. She was right out of the University of Georgia, young girl, probably 22 years old. I still remember she was beautiful, blonde, bouffant hair, had these soft wool sweaters and skirts, but she didn't know anything about Mill Village children. First day back from Christmas, there were 30 of us in the class. She sat us down in a circle and says, the very first thing we're going to do is to go around the circle and you can tell everybody what you got for Christmas. And everybody immediately looked down at their shoes because there are a lot of people in that circle that didn't get anything for Christmas.
Yeah.
None of us got very much for Christmas.
Right.
When we got that fruit box with the candy, that was about it. But I was a quick study even then, so I said, I'll go first. And I said, I got a Johnny Reb cannon, I got a Daisy BB gun, I started naming all this stuff I got, and everybody's eyes got big because they looked at me. They'd all been to my house and knew I didn't get any of that stuff. But I was having a big time, and a friend of mine, Sylvia Hardegree, figured out what was going on. She said, "I'll go next," and she said, "I got an Easy Bake Oven and a Betsy Wetsy doll." And we went around that circle, and everybody named everything we'd seen in Sears Roebuck catalog. And the teacher's eyes got bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's been 60 years. We still talk about the time we had the best Christmas ever, telling about what we didn't get for Christmas.
Oh, I love that. That is just fantastic. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. We come back more with Daryl Huckabee.
Oh, thank you.
Looking for that perfect piece of jewelry designed just for you? At P&A Jewelers, family owned since 1976, we've been helping our customers shine for nearly 50 years. Now proudly run by second-generation brother and sister team, we specialize in custom jewelry design, expert repair work, and fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit P&A Jewelers, where family tradition sparkles. Located in Loganville beside Quick Trip, or online at shoppajewelers.com. Follow us on Facebook to see what's new.
Get a great deal on a Kubota tractor, built to work, built to last, and as dependable as you are. Right now, write it off the lot and write it off your taxes with 0 down, 5.49% APR up to 84 months, plus instant cash discount and 2 years orange protection warranty. Now through December 31st. Consult your tax advisor. Details at KubotaUSA.com.
Your Kubota dealer is Hayes Tractor, 545 Highway 11 South and Social Circle. Go to HayesTractor.com.
Are you considering selling your house or land, or perhaps find your dream home? Call Stacy McCullers, your trusted real estate expert. With 12 years of experience and a lifelong connection to Walton County, Stacy is here to help you every step of the way. Whether you're buying or selling, she's available anytime to make your real estate journey smooth and successful. Don't wait. Call today, 678-859-6336. A member of Malcolm & Malcolm Realty Professionals. Stacy McCullers, your realtor for life.
Do you have unwanted or scrap gold and silver jewelry just lying around? What about sterling flatware or gold and silver coins and bars? Madison Coin and Bullion will pay top dollar for any precious metals you own. Madison Coin and Bullion also offers a large selection of gold and silver coins and bullion available to purchase at competitive prices. And if you're looking to purchase jewelry at a considerably lower price, look no further than Madison Coin and Bullion. Madison Coin and Bullion, located at 2492 Eatonton Road in Madison, open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Ford Bronco Sport for only $25,000. That's just one of the year-end deals at Aikens Ford in Winder. Hi, this is Brad Aikens, and through December 31st, take $10,000 off the MSRP on select new 2025 Ford Broncos and Ford Bronco Sports. So you can drive a 2025 Ford Bronco Sport home starting at just $25,238. Stock number 04630, MSRP $35,238 with approved financing through Ford Credit and your 1995 renewer trade. Dealer retains factory rebates plus government fees. See dealer for details. Visit us today at AikinsFord.com.
Welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. My guest is Daryl Huckabee. He is a writer. He is an author. He owns Huck's Tours. He's taken guests to all 50 states, 76 foreign nations over the past 13 years. Daryl, we were just talking about Michigan, which is where I was born. What a beautiful state. You get outside of Detroit, and the winters are harsh. You're in the right season, but Mackinac Island, what a place.
Oh, the Grand Hotel. We go every other summer, and we stay a couple of days at the Grand Hotel, which is a wonderful experience. Everybody dresses up. The owners said that he requires men to wear ties to dinner, and he said the reason was he didn't want the help to know. Some people go there every year, 2 or 3 times a year. Some people save for a whole lifetime to go spend 2 days there. And he said he didn't want the servers and the help at the hotel to know the difference. And he didn't want to treat them any differently.
That makes sense, yeah.
So everybody wears coat and tie. There's no tipping. Just a very elegant place. It was built in less than 100 days. Most people don't realize that.
I did not realize that.
The longest front porch in the world, and American flags hanging on every banister and rocking chairs. It's just a magical place.
I was fortunate enough to take my wife and children. My boys were probably 8 and 9 when we went there, but it was between 2008 2010 when the economy. So that's the only time I could afford it because it's not cheap. But what an experience you take a ferry to the island, and then there's no vehicles.
Right, no vehicles. There's horse-drawn carriages, pick you up at the ferry and take you up to the hotel. I play golf there, and they have the golf course. You play the first 9, which is right outside the hotel. Then you put your bags on a horse-drawn wagon, and they take you across the island. You play the back 9. Then they bring you back.
Wow.
It's really, really great place.
So with Huck's Tours, and we're going to kind of jump around. I had this segment actually saved for the last, but let's do this now because I think this is an opportune time. At what point did you realize this was becoming a thing? Because I follow you on Facebook, and you travel quite a bit.
We do. We go somewhere every month, sometimes twice a month. Happened all by accident. I had just retired from teaching. I taught 40 years, and I had stage 4 cancer. Doctors were giving me 6 to 9 months to live. God had other plans. Thanks to a lot of prayer and the doctors at MD Anderson in Houston, Texas, I survived. But I just retired from teaching. My minister at the First Methodist Church in Conyers asked me to do a Lunch and Learn series about American history. I taught U.S. history. And we were trying to focus on how God has always been involved in our nation's history. At that particular point in time, Barack Obama and others were claiming that we were no longer a Christian nation.
I remember that, yeah.
And so we wanted to emphasize the fact that we were founded as a Christian nation and are still indeed a Christian nation. So we planned a Lunch and Learn. It was going to be once a month to talk about a different phase of American history and how God had a hand in our history. We expected maybe 30, 35 people. 300 people showed up the first day. We didn't do reservations.
Wow.
The missions team got busy, ordered pizzas, got everybody fed. But for 9 straight months, we had 300 people come to hear the lectures. And toward the end of the series, someone said, well, where are we going to go on our field trip? And I just laughed. I said, what are you talking about? They said, well, we've had a whole year of history. We need to go somewhere on a field trip.
That's right.
So I planned a 4-day trip to Boston, Massachusetts area to study the American Revolution. And 50 people signed up immediately. We went and we had a good time. And then people said, well, where are we going to go next? I laughed. I said, nowhere. I'm waiting to die. And I said, oh, we got to go somewhere else. So I put together another trip and then another and another. And then Sunday night at 2 o'clock in the morning, we got back from our 144th Huck's Tour.
Isn't that something, Chastity? So I just love it.
Yeah, so now we've been to all 50 states multiple times, and we've been to 76 foreign nations at the last count. And it's just been remarkable. The people have become like a family. We've had people who've been
you get a lot of repeat tours.
We have people who've been on 50 and 60 tours. We have some tours that are reserved only for the people who have been on at least 10 tours. So it's like a big family.
Yeah.
And it's really been had a life of its own.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. My guest is Daryl Huckabee. We're talking about Huck's Tours. And Daryl, let me ask you this. What makes your tours different is you then apply your 40-plus years as a history teacher into the conversation. So is it a guided tour?
It is. I'm the only employee of Huck's Tours. I put the trips together, plan the itineraries, make out the menus, book the hotels, and lead the tours. And it's been just remarkable. It's a lot of fun. And I think the thing that makes our tours different is that I've never been on a tour except mine, but we go to places where people get off the tour bus and we notice that they don't speak to one another. Some of them are frowning. You wonder who held a gun to their head to make them go on the tour. But with our tours, we make sure that everybody interacts with one another. You may come with a group of 3 or 4 friends, but everybody's going to be interacting with everybody else. We make an intentional effort to make that happen, and we become friends. And people get home from one, and they can't wait to sign up for the
That's
next.
the testimony of what you're doing, that you're absolutely knocking out of the park when you have all these repeat folks, customers, if you'll call them, that want to go back on additional tours. So when you do a tour, let's just use Boston for an example. What does a typical day look like? Do you have breakfast together and then you're out and you're walking around?
All of our tours include breakfast and one other meal. So, yeah, we at a hotel. We stay at nice hotels. We make it a point to stay close to the action. we don't stay out of town and bus in. We always stay where people can get out and walk around if they need to.
So you're right there in the middle of what's going on.
We're right in the middle of what's going on. We'll get up and have a planned activity in the morning, and then we'll go somewhere. We used to have 3 meals a day, but I learned that people would rather shop than eat in the middle of the day. So then we go somewhere that you can have lunch on their own and shop around and do some things. An afternoon activity, and then back to the hotel and supper together. And if there's an evening show or something to do, but the days are planned out. A little bit of free time, but mostly we're have planned activities or shows or things that we're going to do together.
For all the tours that you've done, is there a favorite for you? Is there a favorite destination?
My wife gets mad every time I say it. Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Really?
We do a tour every year or every other year called the Southern Food and Music Tour. We go to Nashville, Tennessee for a couple of days, go to the Grand Ole Opry. We go to Memphis, Tennessee, go to Elvis, Graceland, Sun Studio, Peabody Hotel. Then we go to Clarksdale, Mississippi on the way to New Orleans for 2 days. And at Clarksdale, we stay in a place called the Shack Up Inn. And these two guys bought this cotton plantation about 30 years ago, and they brought in these sharecropper shacks from all over the Mississippi Delta, and they put electricity in them and a rudimentary bathroom in them, and they decorated them with all kind of 30s and 40s kitsch, and I just love going there. They have a big commissary, a honky-tonk. We always stay there on a Sunday, and we always have a gospel blues band come in and do gospel music on Sunday night, and I preach in the honky-tonk.
Okay.
So I tell people I've preached at, I'm a lay Methodist minister, and I've preached at 300 different churches and one honky-tonk.
One honky-tonk. So who would have thought Clarksville would have been on the top of the list? That's just fantastic. Marc McMain, my guest is Daryl Huckabee. So a segment wouldn't be a segment, Daryl, if I didn't ask you, do you have a good story to tell on some of your tours? You've done 140 some out of these. There has to be some bizarre moment that's taken place on one of them.
There's been lots and lots and lots of moments. One time we pulled up in Deadwood, South Dakota, and got out and went into the hotel, and the lady said, "I'm really, really glad to see you, but we weren't expecting you till tomorrow."
Oh, no.
So we got busy, got on the phone, and found rooms within walking distance for everybody. She had made the mistake, not me. I looked back at the contract, so I was happy to see
you did it
she
right.
had made the mistake. I had done it right. One time we Southwest Airlines canceled our flight on September 11th one year. We were in Chicago, and on September 10th I went online that night to check us in for our flight home, and the flight had been canceled without any notification.
No.
So I had 56 people that I had to get home the next day. We used 3 different airlines and 2 different airports, but we got everybody.
You got them all home.
Everybody home within 30 minutes of when we were supposed to be there. So things like that come up.
I can't imagine the stress level for you as a tour guide organizer having to deal with that.
And probably the worst thing that happened, we were in Israel on March the 10th in 2020 when they shut down the country, and the company we were working with said, "You're on your own to get home." So I had to find 40 flights out of Israel the day before it closed for COVID.
Good.
So that was a hairy moment, but God took care of us, and we got home. So
and I can only imagine you've had to learn to just calm your nerves and just say,
"Yep, don't panic.
Don't panic."
Coach Dooley, when Coach Dooley was hired, he's a good friend of mine. Coach Dooley and I have traveled all over Europe visiting battlefields together, the two of us. But when Joel Eves hired Coach Dooley, and at the introductory press conference, he said, "The only thing I can tell you for sure about Vince Dooley is he'll never panic." And I've kind of taken that to heart, and I try to remember that when something gets screwed up, I'll just say, "Don't panic." And it's worked out so far.
I think my stress level would go through the roof. Chastity, my wife knows me. She's probably laughing. She knows I would hit the panic button. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. We come back more with Daryl Huckabee.
Here
Here comes the season for believing, and you better believe that Covington Ford wants to be your number one local Ford dealer. To prove it, they're giving you a lifetime powertrain warranty on nearly all new Fords they have in inventory. For instance, pick a new F-150, get 0% for 60 months below invoice pricing, a lifetime warranty, and one less worry on your plate. Some restrictions may apply, so call for details 770-863-3432, located in Covington.
I've got to tell you about the best kept secret in Monroe for electric wholesale supply, Allen's Electric. Family owned and operated since 1972, Allen's Electric offers a complete line of electrical supply, wiring, breakers, bulbs, heating elements, electric motors, light fixtures, and so much more. Located at 925 West Spring Street in Monroe, stop by and see Brian and Cindy, in business for over 50 years. That's Allen Electric Supply, 770-267-5572.
Are you considering selling your house or land, or perhaps find your dream home? Call Stacy McCullers, your trusted real estate expert. With 12 years of experience and a lifelong connection to Walton County, Stacy is here to help you every step of the way. Whether you're buying or selling, she's available anytime to make your real estate journey smooth and successful. Don't wait. Call today, 678-859-6336. A member of Malcolm & Malcolm Realty Professionals. Stacy McCullers, your realtor for life.
Folks, are you tired of the hustle and bustle of the malls? Remember as a kid when you would go to the store with your grandparents and pick out your favorite candy? Come to Patrick's in Covington for an old-fashioned Christmas that will take you back to those times. They have the largest selection of old-time candy in the area. Favorites include orange slices, pralines, coconut macaroons, chocolate-covered peanuts, and peanut clusters. Patrick's also has fresh whole shelled pecans as well as glazed, bourbon, cinnamon, roasted, salted, chocolate-covered, and other flavors. If you want a gift you know your family will love, choose from their fresh fruit basket or a gift basket of home-style preserves, chow-chow, candy, and other goodies. Don't see exactly what you want? Gather up the goodies you'd like from the large selection of candies, preserves, and pecans, and they'll make a custom gift just for you. Whether you want to relive these happy childhood memories or make new ones with your children and grandchildren, go to Patrick's for a Christmas that will take you back in time. Start your own family tradition at Patrick's, located on the Bypass in Covington, 770-786-3220.
Do you have unwanted or scrap gold and silver jewelry just lying around? What about sterling flatware or gold and silver coins and bars? Madison Coin and Bullion will pay top dollar for any precious metals you own. Madison Coin and Bullion also offers a large selection of gold and silver coins and bullion available to purchase at competitive prices. And if you're looking to purchase jewelry at a considerably lower price, look no further than Madison Coin and Bullion. Madison Coin and Bullion, located at 2492 Eatonton Road in Madison, open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Daryl Huckabee. Daryl is not just the owner of Huck's Tours. He's not just an author. He's also a columnist. And let's talk about that for a minute, because I'm not ultra familiar with your columns. I've read some bits and pieces. But how did you get into that?
I started writing letters to the editor at our local paper.
Okay.
And before that, to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. It started at the AJC, and they liked my letters and they printed them. So I started writing once a month in the AJC, a guest column. But then Cynthia Tucker became the editorial page editor, and I couldn't recognize anything I'd written. She changed it so much.
Would she really?
Oh, yeah. She was. She would edit away everything that she didn't like, which was most of what I wrote. So I quit that. I said, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. Then I got a call one day from the brand new editor of our local paper, the Rockdale Citizen. Her name was Alice Queen. I didn't know her. I had read that she had been the editor of the Lexington, Massachusetts Minuteman.
Okay.
So I got an email from her, actually, not a call, and asking me to start writing a column in the local paper. I said, the last thing I need is to write for another Yankee woman. So I just replied, no, I'm not interested. And she continued to email me. So finally I said, well, I'll set up an appointment and we'll talk. And as soon as I went to the newspaper office, as soon as I sat down and she started talking, I said, ma'am, you're not from Massachusetts. Where in the world are you from? She said, Montezuma, Georgia.
Oh, so she just
and she had
made her way back
from the Henry Grady School of Journalism.
Wow.
And had gotten a job up there, so she was back. And so I started writing a weekly column. She's a dear, dear friend. I owe so much to her. And then I started writing twice a week, then 3 times a week. And then other newspapers started contacting, wanting to know if they could run the column. And so pretty soon I was in newspapers all over the state, everything except the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. But 5 years ago, newspapers were dying out, and the climate was really harsh, you remember. So I took my column to Substack, and now it's printed online by subscription. It comes directly to your mailbox every Sunday and Wednesday.
So it gets emailed to you.
It gets emailed to you. So it's a lot better because nobody can edit what I write, and I can write anything I want to without putting anybody at risk, because my opinions are pretty strong, and they're my opinions, but mine's the only one I got. So
that's it. Amen to that.
That's what I write. But I write Southern humor. I write whatever's happening to me, what's on my mind, and sometimes I delve into politics. But it's kind of bad because my columns were in the Athens Banner Herald and the Marietta Daily Journal, Gwinnett Daily Post, a lot of the large local papers, but papers are dying out, and I see people all the time, well, I wish you were still writing. I said, well, I still am, and you don't have to subscribe to a newspaper to get it, so you can just
get it directly from you.
DarylHuckabee.net. It's $30 a year, which is about $0.10 a column. It's not worth much, maybe, but it's worth $0.10 to read my column. So you can go to DarylHuckabee.net and read twice a week still. Been going on for 28 years, and
how do you come up with new content, Daryl? Because think about that, because each week you're having to come up with a new subject. Do you look at things that maybe amuse you or maybe annoy you? I mean, what is your origin for each story?
All of the above. I heard Jeff Foxworthy say a couple of weeks ago that people ask him where he did his research. He said, I don't do any research. I just live with my family. And that's the way I am. I just, whatever's going on in the world, whatever I see, whatever I observe. And, I'm either blessed or cursed with an almost perfect memory. I remember everything that's happened to me. I write about the old days a lot.
Okay.
I write about growing up in Porterdale, life in the South, the way it used to be, the way it is now, the way I wished it were. So I never run out of anything to write about. As long as there are people in the world, there'll be plenty to write about.
You got unlimited content. Yeah, that's exactly right. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. My guest is Daryl Huckabee. We're talking about the columns that he writes now on Substack. You can subscribe to those. Tell us again, Daryl, how you can subscribe to the Substack columns.
Just go to DarylHuckabee.net. 2 R's and 2 L's, HUCKABY.net. And there's a little ribbon, a button you click on, and it subscribes, and it
walks you through
easy.
it. Yeah,
comes right to your mailbox. For instance, you're asking how I get this week's Sunday's column. We were in New York this past weekend for a Christmas trip, and all these Yankees. I know you're from Michigan, but nonetheless, all these Yankees are always laughing at us when it snows. Oh, you run and get bread and milk and toilet paper, and you shut down everything if it's 2 snowflakes. It snowed 2 inches in New York. They canceled the ferry to the Statue of Liberty, and our flight was delayed 6 hours getting home. I don't want to hear another word from you Yankees about that it snows. Everybody, it doesn't. We don't do it. No. We got home at 2 in the morning instead of 5 in the afternoon.
So were you in New York on Sunday, trying to come home on Sunday?
Yes.
So my son was in New York. He was in Manhattan, and he got delayed till Monday, and it was still an adventure.
Yes. It was crazy, and it only snowed 2 inches.
And that's what's funny, because when I looked at the weather, I'm thinking, why are y'all shutting all these flights down? Because it just breezed through. I don't know what happened.
But we got home, and I was very, very thankful that we did.
Well, especially on a Sunday, so you pulled some strings that we didn't have. Daryl, when you're writing a column, have you ever noticed like maybe you get a stronger reaction to something? If you delve into the political realm, do you get some negative pushback, some feedback, or what kind of reactions do you get on your columns?
Oh, well, if you make everybody happy, you're not doing a very good job.
I've learned that.
Because I get a lot of negative response, but I don't pay any attention to it. If you don't have critics, you aren't really doing much of anything. I just write, as I said, my opinion, and I don't want everybody to have to agree with my opinion. but I am true to my opinion, and I never, ever, ever write what I think somebody wants to hear.
Right.
So
yeah, you're expressing what's on your mind and how you're viewing something. Look, the South has changed a lot. I've been here since 1980, and it's funny because I have been de-Yankified, if you can say that. Maybe that's a word. I consider myself a Georgia boy. I still love Michigan. I could never move back. Daryl, there's no way I can move north.
Understood.
You know, I'm Atlanta or south. You know, from this point on, it's just the way of life down here. I think is special, but the South has changed. Georgia specifically. Do you ever incorporate that into your columns?
Oh, all the time, and you know, it is getting homogenized. People are going to school to lose their Southern accents.
That's bizarre.
You know, they really are. They want to. You can't get sweet tea in restaurants without asking for it nowadays. There are a lot of things that are just different.
Yeah,
but,
you're
know,
right.
I've been all over the country and all over the world, however, though, and people are good everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And I like our mores. I like the way we talk. I like the way we interact. I like the way we wave at people and the way we bless people's hearts. But unfortunately, there is not as much distinction among regions as there used to be.
Well, it's funny you say that because there's no doubt when you talk about just something as simple you said, just walking down any road in your neighborhood in an area that you don't know, people are going to lift their head up and they're going to wave to you.
Absolutely.
It's just it's something that we noticed in Georgia since the day we moved here. And for those who have not traveled north, that does not go on up north.
No, it doesn't. People look at you like you're crazy if you speak or wave.
The best thing I remember, Daryl, is this. I remember, so I lived in the South for several years. I was up north, and I don't know, I was at a store or something, and I saw somebody and I said, "Hey, how are you?" Or maybe I just said, "Hey," and the guy said, "What? What do you want?" Yeah. And that's just, you know, you're just making, this is small Southern talk, right?
Yeah. We still pull over for funerals, processions, and there's still a lot of Southernness, but we are losing it.
Yeah. I remember in sixth grade, we had a class on chivalry.
Oh, good.
And they were teaching how to, you know, if you're on a date, how to, you know, prepare the chair, different, you know, ways to shake a hand with a lady versus a gentleman, all these things. I don't even know if we teach that anymore.
I'm sure we don't. And, you know, saying yes, sir, and no, sir, yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am is getting to be a lost art, too. You have to really work with our grandchildren to get them to understand that that's the way you're supposed to address people.
You're right.
And I still address people as ma'am and sir, even if they're younger than me. And nowadays, just about everybody's younger than me. So
I must fess up. Fifth grade was my first school year in Georgia, and I struggled with that one. I think I got in trouble more often than not. my science teacher, I'd say yeah, and she'd say yes, ma'am, and I was okay. So, but you learn quick.
Yeah.
Get wrapped a couple times, you learn real quick.
That's right.
You listen to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Daryl Huckabee. Daryl, before we take this next break, and this will be our final segment coming up, what motivates you to keep writing? Because this is, I would imagine this is a work of love. It takes time. You're having to sit down and really apply yourself to this, and you're having to come up with new content every week.
I like to stay connected with people, and, you know, I can't see myself ever retiring. I don't know what I would do. We've had some downtime without trips for about 4 or 5 weeks, and I find myself just sitting down looking at the television way too much.
Yeah.
Going through my phone way too much. So my writing is as much for me as it is for the readers, because it's just a chance for me to express what's on my mind. And I guess as long as I had just one reader, I'd probably get up every day and write that column, even if it was just one reader. And before I was published, I wrote letters and journals and things because I just have always had a lot to say. My daddy taught me how to read when I was about 4 years old.
Wow.
I've always loved reading, communicating, writing, telling stories. So I'll keep doing it as long as my mind keeps working.
Well, you're exceptional at it. In the next segment, we're going to talk about some of the books you've written. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. One more segment with Daryl Huckabee.
I know it's getting cold, but Loganville Ford is heating things up. That's right, Loganville Ford is turning up the heat with the year-end sales event. We've got a full lot with thousands and thousands of dollars off brand new Fords. If you're looking for reliability and value, check out our lineup of Ford certified pre-owned vehicles. all inspected, road tested, so you can drive with confidence. But hurry, when the clock hits midnight on December 31st, these deals will melt away. Loganville Ford, big savings, hot deals, even in the cold.
Hey, this is Doug.
And this is Robbie.
We own and operate Foy Tree Service.
When you need tree cutting, stump grinding, lot clearing, mulching, firewood, and more, call Foy Tree Service.
Serving Morgan County and surrounding area since 1987.
With top quality service and fair prices, we take pride in our work, and we do everything to make sure that you are a happy customer.
That's Foy Tree Service. Call us at 706-342-8733.
That's 706-342-TREE.
Make sure your diesel is ready for every season by stopping in at Leadfoot Diesel. Their technicians have many years of combined experience to keep your Cummins, Power Stroke, and Duramax running the way it should. Plus, they can improve fuel mileage, perform upgrades, AC repair, and they offer tires, wheels, lift kits, and more. Diesel owners from all over the country trust Leadfoot Diesel, 320 Mayfield Drive in Monroe. Stop in or go to leadfootdiesel.com.
When you walk through the doors of Campton Restaurant, you're not just here for a meal, you're part of a tradition. I'm Josh Parker, fourth generation owner, and for nearly 40 years, families in Walton County and surrounding areas have gathered around our tables to share stories, laughter, and good Southern cooking. From crispy fried chicken to heart-healthy daily specials, there's always a plate waiting with your name on it. We're open Mondays for lunch and Tuesday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. and 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays. So come on by, make yourself at home, and experience Campton Restaurant, where family tradition meets every meal.
Folks, are you tired of the hustle and bustle of the malls? Remember as a kid when you would go to the store with your grandparents and pick out your favorite candy? Come to Patrick's in Covington for an old-fashioned Christmas that will take you back to those times. They have the largest selection of old-time candy in the area. Favorites include orange slices, pralines, coconut macaroons, chocolate-covered peanuts, and peanut clusters. Patrick's also has fresh whole shelled pecans as well as glazed, bourbon, cinnamon, roasted, salted, chocolate-covered, and other flavors. If you want a gift you know your family will love, choose from their fresh fruit basket or a gift basket of home-style preserves, chow-chow, candy, and other goodies. Don't see exactly what you want? Gather up the goodies you'd like from the large selection of candies, preserves, and pecans, and they'll make a custom gift just for you. Whether you want to relive these happy childhood memories or make new ones with your children and grandchildren, go to Patrick's for a Christmas that will take you back in time. Start your own family tradition at Patrick's, located on the Bypass in Covington, 770-786-3220.
Welcome back. Marc McMain. My guest is Daryl Huckabee. We're talking now about some of the books that he has written. You've authored 13 books that you told me earlier?
13 so far.
So I have one of them. I have Still Southern after all these years. Let's start with that one. What was the motivation on that book?
Well, that was a collection of columns, and every 2 or 3 years we did a collection of columns from just so I could
kind of chronicle what you've...
Yeah, chronicle what I've done. My first book was a novel. It was Need To in 1995. Louis Gazard had died. I didn't feel like anybody was speaking up for the Southern male anymore. They had an Auburn graduate writing in Lewis's place in the AJC. One Sunday afternoon, cold, rainy day, I was complaining about Rita Grimsley Johnson trying to fill Lewis's shoes.
Yeah.
And I said, she's not funny. Nobody's funny anymore. Nobody's writing from the Southern perspective.
Right.
And Lisa said, if you can do better, you ought to do it yourself. So I thought, well, maybe I will. So Lewis had written a column just before he died, his last column, and he said, if I survive this heart surgery, these are the things that I want to do, which, of course, he didn't survive. He died at Emory or Piedmont following the surgery. But one of the things he said he was going to do was write a novel. He said, I've written 17 or 18 books. I've never written a novel. I want to write a novel just to see if I can. It would have to be what I know the most about, which is drinking beer, chasing women, and Georgia football. Well, I don't drink beer. I don't chase women. But I know a lot about Georgia football, so I took a yellow legal pad and a ballpoint pen. I sat down that Sunday afternoon by the fire and wrote the first chapter of what I thought Lewis's book would be like.
Right.
And then I threw it aside and had gotten it out of my system. Well, that night I went in the bedroom. My wife, Lisa, was dying laughing, which wasn't unusual, but I wasn't even in there yet. So she was reading that yellow legal pad, and she said, "This is funny. What happens next?" And I said, "Nothing happens next. I just did that to get it out of my system." She said, "No, this is good. You got to write some more."
You're on to something.
So each day I'd write another chapter. But Need To was the name of the book, and it was a funny story about two college kids who were seniors at the University of Georgia. They had no money and no car and no tickets, but 4 days before Georgia was to play Notre Dame in the national championship, they decided they couldn't live if they weren't there to see Herschel Walker and the Georgia Bulldogs take on Notre Dame. So it told who they blackmailed to get a car, who they lied to get money, what they did for tickets, and about all the trouble they got into and out of along the way. And it ain't about me or my college roommate who's standing beside me on the cover of the book. But we got the book written, and that's when I learned that publishers won't read yellow legal pads. You got to type the book.
It's got to be properly submitted, yeah.
And I didn't know how to type, so I borrowed one of those LC2 Macintosh computers, and from the school where I was teaching, and retyped the manuscript. We submitted it to 6 different publishers, and didn't expect to hear back from any of them. But within 2 weeks, I'd gotten offers from all 6.
Are you kidding me?
And I'm not stupid, but I took the one that gave me the most money.
That is my
St. Simon's Press, which was a new printing house, published the book in 1995. It was a regional bestseller.
Wow.
And it still sells lots and lots of books every year. I've had a sequel, Need 4, which is the same guys going back to the 2002 Sugar Bowl. And next year we have Need 2 More, which is the end of that series, which is the same guys grown up with their families going to the 2021 National Championship. So that's the Need 2 trilogy. I've done a couple of cookbooks, Dinner on the Grounds, which is a collection of recipes from old-fashioned church dinners, and then the Southern Eaton Cookbook, which is my own family's recipes. I've done 3 collections of columns. The one you read, Still Southern After All These Years. Yep. I've got Southern Is as Southern Does. And the first collection of Grits' Groceries and Other Facts of Southern Life. And then I've done a couple of biographies, one about Lenny Stadler, who started the rock band Blackfoot. He was into drugs and sex and rock and roll, and if it was bad and you could do it, Lenny did it. He was saved and was the preacher at the largest Methodist church in North Carolina for 18 years.
Wow, okay.
And then I did one about Coburn Kelly called Kelly's Boys, who was the legendary physical director, athletic director at the Athens YMCA. And I did a book about my battle with cancer called Yea Though I Walk. When I had stage 4 cancer, wasn't expected to live. I was looking for books. I was looking for things to read to help me and couldn't find any. So I sat down and wrote a book about my experience with cancer for other people who might be going through the same thing.
Yeah.
And it was about my faith and how God answered prayers that people sent up for me, and how I survived. And there's another collection of columns called What the Huck, which is a collection of my commentaries from the Moby in the Morning radio show.
Okay, yeah.
Which we did for about 15 years with Moby.
Marc McMain, our guest, is Daryl Huckabee. Let me ask you, when you write a book, is this a disciplined effort to sit down and just crank it out, or is this something that's like a fine wine, just takes time to get it across?
You know, it should be a disciplined effort, but I do so many other things.
Yeah, you got a lot going on, Daryl.
That I just don't always get to it.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 books now. One is Need 2 More, the sequel to the Georgia football books. But there's another novel, Red Clay Sunrise, that I've been working on for about 15 years.
Okay, yeah.
And I just can't, I've had to get the publisher to extend the contract every year for 15 years, so I just can't find time to sit down and finish it because it's a serious novel.
You're a busy guy. I mean, you've got a lot going on.
I can't decide what I want to be when I grow up.
Well, I think you still got time to decide. So just out of curiosity, the Need To series, it sounds to me like the names have been changed to protect the innocent, but there's a lot of real life stuff that goes on in there. Some real
the
stories.
names have been changed to protect the guilty. It's all rooted in truth. And it's, the guys that were, the books are modeled after me and my high school roommate, my college roommate and high school best friend, Jimmy Hutchins. And Jimmy passed away on the night that Alabama beat us for the national championship in 2017 from cancer. And he and I traveled to so many games and had so many adventures, and a lot of that's incorporated into the books. And that's the reason that Need To More hasn't come out, because in Need To More, I had one of the characters growing old and or getting cancer and dying, which was actually based on what I was facing.
Oh, mercy.
But then Jimmy actually was diagnosed in September with brain cancer and died in January. And
I'm sorry.
I had to, I haven't published the book yet because I have to rewrite it, because I didn't want people to think I was writing about Jimmy's experience.
I got you. Yeah,
I don't have the right to do that, to tell his story.
That makes sense.
So that's why it hasn't come out. But next year in time for Christmas.
Marc McMain, we're with Daryl Huckabee. We're talking about some of the books that he's written. So a segment wouldn't be a segment, Daryl, if I didn't ask you for a story, whether it was something about the process of writing the book or maybe one of the stories you'd like to share from one of your books. Is there anything that comes to mind that you want to share with the listeners?
Well, Need To, I guess, when it first came out, it was just like a dream come true. And because I always dreamed of writing a book, but the plan was to finish teach 30 years, retire, move to Pawleys Island, and become a great writer. But a funny thing that happened with Need To is the day before I submitted the last 6 chapters on Monday after I'd sworn to the publisher on Friday that I already mailed them. I finished them over the weekend. But at the end, I said, well, I guess you're supposed to put a little disclaimer. None of this stuff really happened. Everything's based on fiction,
right,
although it wasn't. So I picked up a Pat Conroy book and just copied his disclaimer word for word and sent it off. I didn't realize the publisher did all that. Well, the book came out. I was at a book signing in Brunswick, Georgia, at St. Simon's on St. Simon's Island.
Okay.
And it was a deal where there were 5 or 6 new authors with their first books in this big place in St. Simon's. And I look up, and Pat Conroy walks in the room, and he's holding Need To. And I said, oh, no. He caught me plagiarizing his
disclaimer.
So he walked over and put the book down on the table, and I just stared at him in awe. And he said, well, you going to sign my book? And I said, sir. He said, this is a book signing, isn't it? Or are you going to sign my book? Oh, yes, sir. And I signed the book, and he said, what are you writing now? I said, nothing. I'm going to graduate school and working on my master's. And he said, well, blank. I wish Mark Twain had gone to graduate school. We had had something funny to read, and turned around and walked off. And my agent said, I think Pat Conroy just compared you to Mark Twain.
That is fantastic. Was that the first time you had met him?
Yes. That's the first.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is just great. So. I love your career, everything that you've done, and I mean it when I told you earlier. You are a Georgia treasure. It's we're blessed to have you just right here in Oconee County, where we can, see you and cross paths with you, and your willingness to come in and spend time with us. If the readers right now, or if our listeners want to find your books, I guess the best source is to go to Amazon. If they
go
want
to Amazon or DarylHuckabee.net. I can sell directly off the website as well.
Yeah, that's the best place to go. Go straight to your website, and then that way, if they want to subscribe to the Substack columns as well, they can do that through there as well. Daryl, you're a blessing. I appreciate you taking the time to visit with us today. And I did not know about your battle with cancer, and I love how hearing God had his hand in your recovery on that as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, it's been a lot of fun. We hope to have you back sometime in the near future. And and if I don't see you before Christmas, have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Absolutely. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Don't forget, tonight, I guess Chastity is tonight the last night for Shop with a Hero.
That's right. Tonight is the last night, so anyone out there that has a little free time, would like to come and volunteer, they are welcome.
And this is at the Monroe Walmart.
Walmart and Monroe. And
so you still need volunteers at 4:30 is when you need them to show up.
Yep.
And then they're going to be, what are they doing, sweeping the parking lot?
Yeah, no. We're inside shopping with the heroes, just helping with the kids and getting a little extra fellowship, and it's a great opportunity.
It is. This is a chance for kids who have been struggling to be paired up with a hero of their choice. They get a $200 gift card to go through Walmart with a sheriff's deputy, police officer, first responder, pick out gifts. And you and I have heard tons of incredible stories with this, Chastity, of kids who have picked things not just for themselves, but for their moms, their dads, their brothers, or sisters. It is a heartwarming, wonderful event. I know this goes on all across our listeners' area. I mean, there's events like this taking place everywhere. The one tonight is at Walmart in Monroe. So if you want to volunteer, show up at 4:30, and they will put you to work wrapping gifts.
That's right.
That's awesome. Well, folks, stay safe. We'll be back on tomorrow at noon.